The Second World War was a conflict, or rather a tragedy on a large scale found on many fronts. The great variety of the events has therefore become an important source of inspiration for the arts since the second half of the 20th century, and constantly video games have also explored the complex issues related to the actions of the Nazi Germany. Hi everybody, Gerda and Wirt in the review today. Often, however, the most effects front are those of open warfare, major military actions, and the most emblematic stories: the occupation of France and Paris, the military campaigns in Africa, of the events of the concentration camps, with the horrors discovered in the final stages of war. The Second World War, however, affected everyone and every place, even the most remote and unknown, which is difficult to find mentioned in a broad spectrum analysis submerged by the noisiest facts of the Axis actions. Gerda in Winter therefore sets itself the goal of telling us a minor but no less important story. She does it by taking us to the Denmark and real as treated by the video games, putting us in the shoes of the heroine who will not necessarily act of a pure goddess. Gerda is a young woman of a Danish descent on her mother's side and a German descent on her father's side. A nurse by profession, Gerda returns to Denmark shortly before the German invasion in 1940. After studying for years in Berlin, together with her husband Anders, the woman spends years under Nazi domination trying to cope with the limits of supply and freedom imposed by foreign invaders. However, her adventure begins in 1945 when her husband is captured as a member of a resistant Tinglev, the village where the couple lives and within which the war story takes place. Forget the soldiers at the front, the war machines and the military tactics on the global scale. Gerda, a flame in winter, puts it in our shoes of a woman who suddenly finds herself alone, with few friends, few resources, and simply desire to review their own spouse. Gerda, a flame in winter is a modern graphic adventure in which we will be asked to make various choices that will influence the plot. We'll continually have to carry on dialogues and choose how to act certain situations with the aim of gaining the trust of those who are around us. The whole adventure is based, in fact, not only on the macroscopic choices made in key moments of the plot, but also on the small comments that will improve or worsen our relationship with the main characters and even with the communities on the Tinglev. As a half Danish and half German, Gerda finds herself a dangerous but essentially useful border. She can be friends with the Danes as well with the Germans. Well, not all the Nazis, let's remember. You may also be open in favor of the rebels or maintain a positive relationship with the occupation. Let's be clear, the game does not really allow us to praise the German action with a passion and on the whole push it toward resistance, but we will still decide how to act, also taking advantage for the help of some Nazis try to free Anders. The two other elements are also important: the object that we will find in environments such as food, doctors and luxury goods, or the mental points classified as compassion, wit and intuition. The latter accumulate between one level and the next. At most, Gerda writes in her diary what happened in the most recent phase of the game and will have to decide what are the feelings of the woman on the subject. For example, after Anders is captured, we can understand his action and the needs to dive out the Nazis, or where we can admit that he was reckless and puts us in danger. These mental points are used to win certain discussions, obtaining a sure result by spending a point in which the event we do not have the necessary points or the important object. We can choose a neutral dialogue item to try or obtain a positive result with an extreme formulation with the risk of negative outcome. In the later case, the result will depend on the roll dice, which will be the condition by the relationship with the person with whom we are talking and with the groups to which we belong. Gerda Flame in Winter is therefore in a kind of the chess game where every action is determined by how determined the points at the disposal. Sometimes this point hunt will break our attempts and roleplay find us in the odd situation of being the positive terms with both the occupation and the resistance, but some extend in its Gerda unique trait who has food in two shoes due to their own mixed origins. What matters the most is that the Gerda, a Flame in Winter, puts us in the center of exciting story. The cast of the adventure is varied, interesting, uniting Dan, Germans, Nazis, rebels, sympathies of the regime, profiters, survivors, and many people who mow in a gray area that we can praise or criticize depending on our conscience. The adventure, lasting few 6 hours, is always simulating us allowed to investigate the deeps of the Tinglev, which starts as an ordinary village and becomes the center of attack, clashes and intrigues. Obviously, Gerda, A Flame in Winter offers many different endings. It is replayable, and in the course of adventure we will often have to choose which places to visit and which character to meet, thus losing opportunity to see the other sequences. Not only the parts of the game that will not be seen in a single game, but the fate of these certain characters will be marked on our non-actions. Saving others is the only thing that matters to Gerda, but will also coincidence allow to sacrifice everything and everyone. Gerda, A Flame in Winter is also very pleasant on a visual and sound level. The graphic style is inspired by Northern Impressionist painting, and each section is a small painting. However, it works much more stationary than in motion, as the animations are a like route even for the game that does not focus on the detail, and make the characters of plastic dolls rather than the people. Pathfinding is also a bit iffy at the times, creating weird back and forth dance of Gerda as she tries to reach the point we have indicated to her. The soundtracks always accompany each section, effectively conveying Gerda difficulties. Finally, we can confirm that Gerda got every language, most of the languages, the European. Okay, so the cons: animation can be improved and a single game doesn't last long. The pros: the great plot, characters, the point system makes every choice important, and many events and endings. So Gerda is an interesting and well-written graphics adventure which takes us to one of the least known and least treated fronts of the Second World War in the video game market. It's only limits and the basic animations and not particularly high duration, but these are elements that can take second place in the overall quality of the narration and variety of situation in which we will come across. Thank you for watching. Don't forget you guys to comment and subscribe. Bye.